शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। Namaste. Now we will see the meanings of Shri Vishnu Sahasranama based on Shri Shankaracharya Bhashya for verse 64. First, we will see the verse. Anivarti nivrittatma sankshepta kshemakritshivaha Shrivatsavaksha Shrivasah Shripati Shrimatam Varaha. The namas herein are Anivarti, Nivrittatma, Sankshepta, Kshemakrit, Shivaha, Shrivatsavakshaha, Shrivasaha, Shripatihi, Shrimatam Varaha. There are 9 namas herein. We will see the meanings of each of these one by one. The first nama is Anivarti. There are a couple of interpretations. We will see them one by one. The first interpretation is Devasura Sangraman na nivartata iti. The one who never retreats from the fight between the good and the evil. So Anivarti na nivartate iti Anivarti. The one who never retreats. He is Anivarti. Where does the Bhagavan never retreat from? He never retreats from the fight between Devas and Asuras, the good and the bad, the divine and the demonic. So he is the one who steadfastly fights for the good in his various avatars to ensure that the goodness prevails in the universe. This is the first interpretation. The second interpretation is Vrishapriya Dharman Nanivartata Itiva. The one who never withdraws, retreats from his nature of being the one who lives, who loves Dharma. So here also Anivarti, Nanivartate iti Anivarti, the one who never retreats or withdraws. Withdraws from what? Vrishapriya Dharmat Nanivartate, the one who never changes or withdraws or retreats from the nature of his being the Vrishapriya. Previously, it was clarified that Vrisha refers to Dharma and Priya means the one to whom Dharma is Priya, the one who loves Dharma, the one to whom Dharma is of utmost importance. So the one who never changes this nature, he is Anivarti. So we saw that along with the devotion for Bhagavan Narayana, he also loves those devotees in whom Dharma is firmly established. So he is Anivarti. The next nama is Nivrittatma. Swabhavataha Vishayebhyo Nivrittaha Atma Yasya Saha. The one who by nature is withdrawn from the objects of the senses. Nivrittatma has two components, Nivritta, Atma, and Atma refers to the self and Nivritta refers to withdrawn. So a person who has the nature, whose self is withdrawn naturally from what? From the objects of the senses. So the one who is purely established in his Satchidananda Swarupa. He is indicated by the nama Nivrittatma. The third nama is Sankshepta. Vistrutam Jagat Samhara Samaye Sukshma Rupena Sankshiptavan. The one who compresses the vast universe into subtle form during dissolution. So Sankshepta refers to the one who compresses. So Sankshepa is opposed to Vistara. So it is the Bhagavan who himself creates and allows the universe to expand, and then when it is the time for dissolution, he is the one who compresses, who withdraws all the manifest forms into its subtle nature. So hence Bhagavan here is glorified as the cosmic compressor or Sankshepta. The next nama is Kshemakrit. Upattasya parirakshanam karoti. The one who protects that which has been acquired. Kshema Krit. Kshema is protection. Krit means the one who does. So we see in the texts, especially in Bhagavad Gita, we see Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. The words Yoga and Kshema are always used together. Yoga refers to apraptasya prapti, attaining that which has not been acquired before. And then Kshema is protection of that which has been attained. For a happy, comfortable life, we need not only yoga but also Kshema. Acquiring more and more without protecting that which we have acquired will be off again, will lead to sorrow and suffering. So as yoga is important, Kshema is also important in everyone's life. So Bhagavan, the one who ensures that the Kshema of the devotee or the protection of what the devotees have acquired is done. So he is Kshemakrit, the protector. The fifth nama is Shivaha. Swanama smritimatrena pavayan Shivaha. The one who purifies by the mere remembering of his name. So Shivaha refers to the auspicious or the purifying. So by merely uttering or even merely remembering Achyuta, Keshava, Narayana, Govinda, Madhava, Vishnu, mere remembering of these namas themselves cleanses an individual, turns him away from negative tendencies or helps him overcome anxiety, stress and tension. So the one by remembering merely whose name purifies, frees from suffering, so he is Shivaha. The next nama is Shrivatsavakshaha. Shrivatsa Saunjnyam Chinham Asya Vakshasi Sthitamiti Shrivatsavakshaha. The one whose chest is marked by auspicious Shrivatsa mark, he is Shrivatsa Vakshaha. So Shrivatsa Vakshaha, there are two components. So Vakshas refers to the chest. So and Shrivatsa refers to the special formation of the hair in the chest. So we have seen this meaning previously also. The Shrivatsa formation of the hair refers to the circular orientation of the hair in the chest. So the one who is endowed with this, so he is said to have the Shrivatsa Chinha. And then this Shrivatsa Chinha is a mark of great auspiciousness. And so Bhagavan Narayana in his physical form has to be meditated upon as being endowed with Shrivatsa Chinha. Even among human beings, those who are endowed with this Shrivatsa mark in the chest, they are said to attain great glory and great achievement in their lives. And that is also, in our traditional belief, an indication of the manifestation of the glory of Bhagavan. Hence, here through this Nama, we see this aspect is glorified Shri Vatsavaksha. The next Nama is Shri Vasah. Asya Vakshasi Shrihi Anapayini Vasatiti Shri Vasah. The one in whose chest Shri resides forever. Shri Vasaha, two components. Vasaha refers to the one who resides. So, who resides in the Paramatman? Shrihi, Goddess Lakshmi, resides in Bhagavan Narayana. How does she reside? Acharya says, Anapayini. Never does she desert her position. She forever exists in the chest of Bhagavan Narayana. So Narayana, Bhagavan Vishnu, is always accompanied, is always in the company of Bhagavati Lakshmi. So that is indicated by this term Shri Vasa. The eighth Nama is Shri Patihi. There are a couple of interpretations. We will see the first one. Amrita Mathane Sarvan Surasuradin Vihaya Shrihi Enam Patitvena Varayamaseti Shri Patihi. During the churning of Amrita, the one whom Shri chose as her husband, leaving aside all other gods and asuras. So Shri Patihi, Pati is husband, Shri of goddess Lakshmi. So the husband of goddess Lakshmi is Shri Patihi. Towards this, we see a legend in the Puranas. During the churning of the ocean to attain Amrita, the elixir that will grant immortality, various divine and glorious celestial things emerged in the process of churning. The Airavata, the divine elephant, Uchchaishravas, the glorious divine horse, and so many such wonderful things emerged. And as an ultimate outcome of that churning, we see goddess Lakshmi, Shrihi, emerging, and she, after emerging, chose Bhagavan Narayana, Bhagavan Vishnu as her Pati. So, reminding this Puranic legend, Acharya interprets this term Shri Patihi. So, during the Amrita Mathana, goddess Lakshmi chose Bhagavan Narayana as her consort. Hence, he is Shri Patihi. The second interpretation is from a philosophical sense. We see Shrihi Parashakti Tasya Patiriti Va. Shri is Parashakti, her consort. So here Acharya indicates that the divine cosmic power, energy is Parashakti, and that is Shri. And then the one who is endowed with this Parashakti. So with this Parashakti Shrihi, the one who manages the creation, the sustenance and dissolution of the universe, he is the Pati, the Lord of such ultimate source of energy, Parashakti. So that divine force is Parashakti. The one, the Lord Narayana, who is endowed with that Parashakti, is Shri Patihi. Towards interpreting the word Shri as Parashakti, Acharya quotes from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. He says, Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate iti Shrutehe. So Shri is the Parashakti of Bhagavan Narayana. The ninth Nama is Shrimatam Varaha. Rig Samalakshana Shrihi Yesham Tesham Sarvesham Shrimatam Virinchadinam Pradhana Bhutah. Rig, Yajus, Sama are denoted as the Shri, Lord Narayana, the prominent among Virinchi and others, the ones who possess them. So, Shrimatam Varaha. So, there are two components here, Shrimatam and Varaha. Both are independent grammatical forms, but both these together form one Nama. Varaha is best, prominent. Prominent or best among whom? Srimatam, those who are endowed with Shri. What is the meaning of the word Shri in this Nama? To this Acharya says, Rigyaju Samalakshana Shrihi. Shri here refers to the Vedas, that is Rig, Yaju, Sama. The Vedic mantras which are in the form of poetry, prose, and then songs. Atharva Veda also is indicated or included through these three formats only. So, Vedas here are referred to by the term Shrihi. Those who possess these Vedas, the Vedic knowledge, they are Shrimans. So, Shrimatam, among those who are endowed with such Shri, the best among them. So, all the divinities, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Indra, all the divinities are endowed with the Vedic knowledge, but supreme among them, prominent among them, great among them is Bhagavan Narayana, and hence he is the Shrimatam Varaha. While others, other divinities are endowed with the knowledge of these Vedas, for Bhagavan Narayana, the Vedas are his breath. Yasya Nishwasitam Vedaha, and hence he is the best among those who are endowed with the Vedic knowledge. And so, what is the authority or what is the reference for interpreting the Vedas as wealth, the Vedas as Shri? To this, Acharya quotes from the Taittiriya Brahmana, Rechasama Niyajugumshi Sahi Shri Ramrita Satam. The immortal or the permanent wealth, according to this Vedic statement, that one can possess is Rajasama Niyajugumshi Sahi Amrita Shrihi. This is the permanent wealth that one can possess, the Vedic knowledge. So, Bhagavan Narayana is to be seen or is to be remembered as the one who is the best among the repositories of Vedic knowledge. Hence, Shrimatam Varaha. So, with these 9 namas in verse 64, we have thus far seen 604 namas. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.